Hello and welcome to the channel. Today it is game 3 of the World Chess Championship. Liren leads by 1 point, having won in game 1. No further introductions, it's Liren, it's Gukesh, it's the 2024 World Chess Championship. So let's have a look. In the first game, you may recall, Gukesh played e4, but today he goes for d4. We get knight f6, and Gukesh elects not to play a Trompowsky or anything, but he plays something offbeat. He plays knight to f3. This can transpose into a London. It can also transpose into some like delayed Catalan setups, or it's just a way to avoid some of Black's main weapons. But it does lead to d5, then c4 in the traditional style of the Queen's Gambit, and after e6 we get the exchange Queen's Gambit declined. And this is known to be sometimes better for white. It just, for some reason, it is at top level. So we get knight to c3, c6, just securing to the center. So, stabilizing it a bit. We get queen c2. We get g6. This is how Ding elects he's going to maybe develop his dark squared bishop. We get h3, and we get bishop to f5. Now, Ding's not down a lot on time. It's about 10 minutes. But you can see he is kind of going slowly just to see kind of what Gukesh is playing at. Gukesh plays the move queen b3. Ding responds fairly quickly with queen to b6. And Gukesh plays this fascinating move. It's brilliant, but you might argue to what lost him the first game, in game 1, g4. A g4 again. It just attacks the light square bishop, and it asks it a very difficult choice. Are you going to go backwards? Are you going to come into the position somehow? And Ding answers that question. He takes the queen, and after a takes b3, his bishop goes in, and he's going to try and attack this pawn. Very interesting idea, but you can see he's down nearly 30 minutes on time. It took him quite a while to come up with this idea. But we just get bishop to f4, and Ding finds this move h4, just trying to create play on the side of the board. We get rook to g1, and then after h takes, we get h takes, and this move, knight b to d7, which took Ding a very long time to get this move on the board. You can see he's now down over an hour. Gukesh still well in his preparation. Until now. He elects to retreat the knight, and what it does is it protects this pawn. So they are threatening to lock the bishop in jail, and that is none more evident than after rook to g8, we firstly get this move, which the computer doesn't like. It thinks it's a mistake, because this pawn was controlling the square. So in the future, Ding's bishop might be able to escape. You're trying to lock this bishop in jail and win it. So attacking the knight is no good, because it goes to the side of the board. After the dark square bishop retreats, Ding can slide his rook back to the h-file, but Gukesh goes for this move f3. It's not blessed by the computer. The computer would have rather had bishop to h3, just putting pressure on that knight. Was its most preferred choice, but f3 is reasonable. You are building for e4, and after knight to g7, the fianchettoed knight, we get bishop to g3, just stepping out the way of the rook. And Ding here plays rook h5, which is a mistake. You can see here he's better. The computer thinks he's better because he can rescue the bishop, or he can develop his own bishop to cause counterplay on this side. That's a lot of arrows, but he needs to be active. He needs to make a plan. Instead, he plays this move. He is threatening to take a pawn, but that pawn is meaningless at the moment. It's going to be a target long term. You don't need to win it now. You need to worry about this bishop stuck on the other side of the board. So Gukesh plays his move, e4. It's what he's built up. And it is really a problem now for Ding, because he takes, and you can play here knight e6. It's a problem because rook c1 comes, and that bishop is dead. You can take, but we get firstly the bishop retreating, protecting that pawn and attacking the knight, the defender of this bishop, which could never escape. You can get the bishop to come protect the knight, and then we get this incredible move, the knight drops back, and there's just too many things under attack. So we can take, the bishop dies, and we get that knight. So Gukesh emerges a piece up, but Ding has got 2 pawns. If all the pieces were traded and we were left with this light squared bishop against 2 pawns, it's probably a draw. But while Gukesh has got the extra piece, he's going to use the activity of his pieces to create threats and to win those pawns back. So Ding slides his knight to the center of the board, and that is already a step in the wrong direction. Gukesh drops his knight to the center of the board, and it's a completely different way of doing it, because even though rook d8 can come, the king can slide out the way. Because that knight is protected, the king can now step out the way, and even though you can get rook to h2 to put pressure on this and remove its defender, this bishop just stands in the way. We get a6 to try and get these queenside pawns moving, and just a calm b3. It means the knight can't enter the position. We get rook to d7. The rook slides back, and here I want to draw your attention to something. It is move 30. Ding Liren has got 10 moves to make in 8 minutes. Gukesh has got 21 minutes, which is not a long time, but it is considerably more time than Ding Liren in what is a very, very difficult position. He is completely lost on the clock, and he is well on his way to completely lost on the board. He brings his king up, and it took him way too much time. It took him 2 minutes. The rook slides over, and he spends another whole lot of his time moving his king back. There's not much he can do, but it's not going to be good enough. The pieces are just uncoordinated. He's trying to win this pawn. The knight slides back, take. The bishop comes in to try something. He's got a minute left for another 5 moves, another 6 moves. The rook slides out the way. Can you trade? Can't you trade? He takes the pawn, but bishop h3 comes, and you can play f5 with 5 seconds on the clock to make 4 moves. And this bishop comes, and here Ding Liren makes this move, but loses on time. Ding Liren loses on time in the World Chess Championship. Gukesh evens the score. This is unbelievable. It was shades of the 2023 match where Ding Liren was kind of better against Nepo and then just froze at the board. This isn't the exact same thing, but it's a time management problem, and Ding just not being able to cope with the pressure he was put under. It's incredible. Gukesh evens the score. And we're all even after 3 games, heading into the rest day. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment to say if you didn't. And I'll see you next time. Unbelievable.